Adam Fossett Show brought to you by Marble City Pharmacy and, of course, by the B.B. Comer Alumni Association. A long night last Friday night at Legion Stadium. Piedmont 61-0 over B.B. Comer, and thank God for a running clock. It just, you got a young football team going against a 3A football team that's very seasoned, ranked in the top 2 or 3 in 3A, and, that's what you're going to get when you do that.
Yeah, it was, it was like, it was not a good night by any means. And just, like, you look at the different levels of where the two teams are, for one, like you said, and just, for us, like, when we start the game, we get the ball, we run 2 plays, and get a first down. So we're moving the ball. Things are, we have the situation like we want it, based on offense and defense and numbers and things like that schematically. And then the third play, we run the same play we ran the first play, and it's a loss of 3. So
behind the sticks.
Right. So a lot of it is just mental. It's between the guys' ears. I think they got caught up in, they're number 2 in the state, they're Piedmont, we're not supposed to beat them, and things like that. So the mental psyche of them, they kind of got in their own head early. And I've told them all week this week, like, if you could get out of your own way, you could be really good. Even as young as we are, we could be pretty good if you get out of your own head. So we got to be able to get out of our own way and not shoot ourselves in the foot, and take care of those things. Communication up front on the offensive front is key. We got to be able to communicate and talk about where our double teams are, what we're doing, things like that. So, it's one of those things where I kind of live by a 24-hour rule of good and bad, but I told them after the game, I said, I want this to hurt all weekend. Like, I want you to have a gloomy weekend because of this. And it's not about the win or the loss, it's about the effort. It's about just believing in what they can do and the effort that they show. And, things are not always going to be easy in life. So we better be prepared for the hard part too. So we just got to be able to handle that a little bit better, handle the adversity a little bit better, and do a better job with that.
With the game out of hand, you get to halftime, and it was like 47-0 or something at halftime. How do you teach your kids at halftime in a situation like that?
The big thing is you kind of, like, at halftime, it's either a scheme issue or scheme is good and you want to make some subs or things like that. So at halftime, it was literally about correcting some attitudes and correcting some mistakes and really showing some people, like you have to physically show them on film. We have huddle sidelines, so we can pull it up on an iPad right there and show them where they're not right. So one of the hardest things for kids to do, and apparently, according to my wife, one of the hardest things for men to do is to admit that they're wrong. So
are we wrong sometimes?
Yeah, So like we have kids that we'll show it to and be like, "That's like you didn't do that," and they're like, "Well, yeah, I did." Like, no, it's right here. It's on film. So it's just tough in that aspect. But we want to move on from this. And the good news is that Piedmont won't be on the schedule in the future. I'm working on different games, hopefully a lot closer to home and better gates and things like that. But they won't be on the schedule next year, and we can move forward and get back into region play.
Well, let's talk about region play in Beulah tomorrow night. And, that's a region matchup, and it's really a need to win for B.B. Comer.
Yeah, it's a big game, and they came here last year, and I say they stole one.
Did.
It was a scoring fest, and we couldn't stop them late when we needed to. So we've got to be able to go on the road and score early and often and get ahead. With us, we're both sitting at 1 win on the season. The difference is our 1 win is a region game, so we do have a region win. They're 0-3 in the region, and honestly, a loss for them tomorrow night would pretty much eliminate them. They'd have to have some crazy things happen to be back in the playoff picture. So
with a win, just say that BB Comer is fortunate enough to win tomorrow night. Where does that put you? We get into the two-thirds part of the season right now. Where does that put you in region play?
Yeah, so typically with the way our region is set up, typically 3 wins will get you in. So you look at our region loss to Glenwood. We're actually in a pretty good spot. And we can't take away from our other schedule with Wadley. Wadley's number 1 in the state. Vincent hadn't lost a game since the first game of the season, so they're 5-1, I believe. And then Piedmont is number 2 in the state in 3A. So we've played some doozies. We've played the
you got Glenwood in there too.
Yeah, Glenwood is now ranked in 3A as well. So we've played kind of the SEC West in our non-region. So and at the very bottom, Thorsby. I don't think Thorsby's lost a game all season. So they're undefeated as well in that Week 10 matchup. But the next 4 weeks are very, very critical, and we got to take them one at a time. This region play is kind of like eating a dinosaur. We've got to take one bite at a time, and the next bite is Beulah, and we've got to go on the road and execute. We've got to go on the road and play well and come out with the same intensity that we came out with with Childersburg. And
can't turn the ball over.
Exactly. We've got to be able to hold on to the ball, and we've worked ball security numerous days this week. So. We see the issues in watching the film and work on those things. So ball security, tackling, we got to be able to set the edge better. I think Beulah's going to try and get sideline to sideline on us, and we've got to make sure that we get to that we do the things that we're supposed to do. So we've worked it all week. Practice has gotten gradually better from Monday to Wednesday. Monday we were a little sluggish, and Tuesday a little bit better, and then yesterday practice was a lot better, a lot more energy, a lot more just kind of getting after it and things like that. So I think the understanding of things, again, we're still teaching basic football to some of them that haven't played. So.
You played a lot of young kids last Friday night, and it may not pay off now, but somewhere down the line, that's going to pay off with these young kids getting that experience.
Yeah, no doubt. It's a good thing to be able to throw them in the mix and be able to play. And we got some young guys that have some grit about them that are going to be pretty good. So I was encouraged to see that Terrell Powell is back and got to play. He's been injured all season.
He's a good-looking athlete.
Yeah, and he can move. He's had a really good week of practice. He's kind of like an unguided missile. Like I told him during practice, please do not give me a penalty Friday night, especially coming in late on 3rd and long. So he's just he finds the ball and seeks the ball. So but he's one of those guys that could be a game changer for us. Devin Borden's coming off of an injury, and he got to run the ball late and get some carries in and get some confidence back. And we're going to need him down the stretch. He's a little sophomore running back and receiver that we have. So, we're hoping to utilize that and utilize what we have. Christian Jemison has played lights out for us all season, and that's he's won last week. No matter what the score was, man, Christian played as hard as he could. Like he never gave up. He gave everything he had. The first score of the night for Piedmont was over him, and he had really good coverage. And the kid just made a good catch. And sometimes that happens.
And he didn't like that either. He took it personally.
Right. Yeah. That affects him. He takes that personally, and he wants to be successful. So, he's really one of our true leaders that we have, because he does take that personally, and he wants to be good in what he does. So all that's got to carry over to Friday.
All right. So before we go this morning, talk a little bit about what you've seen on the tape of Beulah and how we can attack them and come out with a region win.
Yeah, defensively we've got to cause the quarterback some problems. We can't let him make plays with his arm or with his legs. He can be the most dangerous one. So kind of a situation like Childersburg, we got to know where he is at all times. and make sure that we contain him. Offensively, we've got to maintain blocks and maintain our assignments. We got to be able to run the ball to open up the passing game, kind of like we did. Same difference with Chillsburg. Just we can't be one-dimensional. We can't depend on having to throw the ball all the time, and we got to be able to run the ball up front on both sides are going to have to be really, really good. Like I said earlier, we've got to get sideline to sideline, because I think that's what Beulah's going to do, is they're going to try and get sideline to sideline on us. And they've got a few guys that are coming back off of injury as well, which could help them out. So we've got to prepare, and preparation, you got to go back to like week 1 to see some of the ones that have been injured for them and preparing for them just to see what they did when those guys were in the game. So I feel like we've got a good game plan. I feel like we're ready to go. You got to get on that bus and make that ride.
Yeah.
So we got to make sure we get off the bus physically and mentally and go and be ready to play.
All right, Coach Adam Fossett, head football coach and athletic director at BB Comer, as the Tigers travel to Beulah for a regional matchup tomorrow night. Kick is at 7 o'clock. Coach Adam Fossett Show on Coach's Corner, brought to you by Marble City Pharmacy and the BB Comer Alumni Association. More daybreak after this.